Hello, Patreon people. How are you? How are we today? I just finished up the live, hopped right on. Maybe I should have peed. Oh, well, whatever. I'm here. Let's get this done. Sorry for the delay. It's a little hectic, but I'm not even kidding. I cannot wait to have an entire room that's just set up and ready to record whenever I need to. Because the breaking down and the resetting up and all that, it just takes forever and it's a pain in the ass and it's going to be so cute. I got a little day bed. And I just have to finish decorating it. I know, but that is going to be a bitch to put together. I just realized that because there's drawers on it. God damn it. But if you didn't know this about me, I am incredibly good at putting together furniture. I put this bed, I put everything together. My dad is always shocked. I'll get a box. When we moved in, I got a box that had, a dresser in it. And he would come by, it always takes a long time. Don't get me wrong. It takes hours. But then be done. I got it. Got to follow the instructions. You got to get stoned and just follow the instructions. I'm so excited to get my dad moved out. I'm going to make my living room just one big cozy TV watching place. I'm very excited, but there's a lot of moving parts and my dad is not easy to get together. To say it mildly. Okay. But anyway, let's talk about Summer House. We are picking up on the girls convo, Lindsay, Amanda, Paige. Paige has said, "Make sure you want to get married." Lindsay's like, "What?" Yeah, she calls everything miniature flag. They're miniature flags, but they're not red enough to make me think that I don't want to get married. And Paige knows that Lindsay just wants this fairy tale. And I kind of fed into it. I'm not even kidding. I think I made a whole post about how they are the rom-com of our generation. Excuse me. They were both. I think I made a whole trailer for the rom-com movie of Lindsay and Carl. So I fed into this. I fed into the attention Lindsay was getting from it. The season that she ends up saying to Carl, "I'm having feelings for you," whatever. She had been striking out left and right with every man that she came into contact with that summer. She was trying to have her hot girl summer or whatever, but everyone was like, "Are you okay? Because you seem unhinged." And that was when we were everyone picks on Lindsay. Everyone's just being really mean to Lindsay. We didn't quite necessarily see what all was happening. I got a Fitbit, by the way, and today's the first day I put it on. And what I got it for was because I really wanted to see how many calories I burn. I know that's so toxic, but I want to see how many calories I burn when I do my workouts because I feel like I work out so much. This has as my energy burned today. I just don't believe that this is accurate. I just don't, because I finished a workout and it said I had burned 882 calories. And as much as I want that to be real, that's not real. There's no way. No fucking way. Oh, I found it. Never mind. Aerobic workout. Oh, 376 calories. Oh, I just didn't know how to look at this. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to make that a higher number next time. But that's good to know. 376, that's good. That's like the cheesecake I ate last night at midnight. It was so good. It was banana pudding cheesecake. Where did I even get that from? What was that place called? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Back to this. Emily, stay focused. Stay focused. All right. So I fed into the narrative. I'm partly to blame for sure. So while this conversation is happening, Carl is over talking to the guys and they're giving him the advice of not to be the only one making concessions since it seems like Lindsay doesn't seem to be making any of her own and he'll get resentful. I don't know if that's accurate, but I kind of think it is. And I know I'm not trying to be on I hate Lindsay train, but yes, she said that she gave up. She helped him through his sobriety to get to his 1 year mark. She helped him by being sober for 2 months or whatever, but now she's not sober anymore and there's volatility when she drinks. So to me, that's I just feel like if my partner is constantly bringing up my drinking, he probably has a problem with my drinking. So therefore I should maybe cut it out. Just for the sake, just even experiment, if you're having constant fights and it seems to be that when you drink, he has a problem with it and he is a sober person. Let's just give it a test. Let's see what happens if I don't drink. And maybe that will help the relationship. I don't think it's worth it to Lindsay to quit drinking for whatever reason. Actually, hold on. Part of me thinks that she doesn't want to quit drinking because she's stubborn and she wants to prove that it's not a problem in any way, because she has heard the note from many people, I'm sure, that when she drinks, she gets super volatile. But I think that this is a stubborn issue. And she's like, no, if I quit, then it will mean that I had a problem or they were right or something. I think it's a stubbornness. It's a willfulness. That's what it feels like to me. Paige and Craig, they do the saran wrap on the door thing. This isn't how like a prank is supposed to go. You don't lead the person to the door, make them walk through it. Like you have to, that's kind of tough, fun about pranks is you do it and then you walk away and then you have to let it happen organically. But they were like, Kyle, come up here. And drunk ass Kyle's like, what? Oh, and just walked through it. West talks to Amanda about Sierra. Okay. And in his interview, he says, I didn't come to the house to be celibate the whole summer. I mean, I'm fine like pursuing her, but I'm also a warm-blooded man. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this because I guess I appreciate the honesty, but, ooh, let me play out what could have. Okay, so this guy comes into the house. We meet West. He comes into the house. He sees a hot girl, Sierra, and let's say they hooked up soon, early on into it. Would he have been like committed to her the rest of the summer and only had sex with her? Because part of me wonders that if they had sex, he might have been like, okay, now I want to go have sex with someone else. It just put him in a different light to me. And so she's doing the right thing by taking it slow and taking it at her own pace and not trying to have her ass embarrassed again like Austin did. But I don't know. It was odd. I don't know how to process this because it's not like he's not being honest about it. And that is kind of good. But when he says, I didn't come here to be celibate, I'm like, so you're going to go find someone else to have sex with before? What? Did you mean that it really was, I don't mind him being open about like wanting to have sex and her saying we're taking it slow. I don't mind that humor, but it was him saying I didn't come to the house to be celibate the whole summer. Meaning like, so if Sierra doesn't put out, I don't know. Is he going to go find someone else? I don't know where this is headed. But people have said that they've seen them together on like Instagram and stuff and they're fine and like I don't know the status. It was weird. It was weird. And then he tells Amanda that Kyle's been kind of like not putting pressure on him, but asking like, what's going on? What's happening? And Amanda goes, don't listen to Kyle. He's trash. All right, girl. Hi. Oh my God, Tiger's being so cute. She's like nestling into me. I lost my train of thought because Tiger was being so cute. You messed up my whole podcast. Anyway, okay, moving on. Carl talks to Kyle about being a flower boy. You guys, what the fuck? So Carl leads off. He goes like this. Carl goes, I really wanted you to be a part of our wedding. I would love for you to be, wait for it, a flower boy. It'll be you, Andrea, and Luke. And Kyle goes, I'm not a groomsman. And Carl goes, no, your role is going to be flower boy. Carl keeps presenting it like he goes, no, flower boy. No, flower boy. If I say it a bunch of times like that, does it make it any better? What? And Carl gives Kyle like a bunch of lip service about, how we're just in a different part of a relationship and this is whatever, yada, yada, yada. And then Kyle just goes, so I'm not a groomsman? Flower boy. Whoa. Oh, whoa. In Carl's confessional, he just blames it all on Lindsay. He's like, look, Lindsay didn't want Kyle to be a groomsman. But I mean, she didn't say that explicitly, but she didn't want him to be a groomsman. Okay. You could have put your foot down. You could have put your foot down, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I I I want to be like, sure, I get why Lindsay said that because there was a whole big thing that happened last summer and stuff, and he spoke to her disrespectfully, and you didn't really stand up for Lindsay, and so now you're like making up for it by being okay, okay. It's just such a massive demotion, because you officiated his wedding, so it's gonna be it's gonna feel like a demotion, dude. No matter how you slice it, okay. Meanwhile, while they're all laying in the beds and going to sleep and whatever, Jesse is FaceTiming with some chick who's flashing him. I really think this guy's like a sex addict. I know we like Jesse. I'm not saying that I don't like Jesse. I am just saying I get a dark side to Jesse. I'm picking up on something that's very dark. I don't like the way he keeps saying I really just want to fall in love and find that I want to find that person that makes me want to settle down. Okay. It's almost like he's testing all these people. I don't know. I just mark my words. If he's back another season, we'll see a slight dark side to him. The next morning they're all in the kitchen and Sierra peels off the Band-Aid that's on West's nose and Paige is like, let me see. Now, I'm not big on like wounds. That's not something I like to look at. But if you're going to pop something, I want to see it. I'm gross like that. I want like, what is it? Let me fucking see it. Kyle and Amanda look at a house in Jersey. I mean, the place looked great. I was like, fuck yeah, awesome. But Kyle is not in any way ready to do this move. They are so on opposite pages. All Amanda wants is this type of life. And Kyle hates it. In the after show, I think it's in the after show, Amanda, or might have been Watch What Happens Live. Amanda says that her dad suggested they just get another place in the city that has an outdoor space, that has more kid-friendly, dog-friendly type of vibes. And that's a great compromise. I think why didn't they just start with that? Why didn't they just go that direction to begin with? I don't know if I really go back to what I said a long time ago. I think Amanda is so freaked out about losing Kyle because then she doesn't have the show anymore. Like it's Kyle's show essentially. She would still be. Would she even like? Would she come to the house anymore? Like I feel like she feels a bit trapped. And I know Kyle gets a lot of blame, and he should. Honestly, Kyle. It's just getting old, dude. Why did you get married if you didn't want to have kids and do all that shit? You guys had been together long enough at that point. It just feels like Kyle did all this out of obligation. He didn't want to lose Amanda, but they've been on different pages this whole time we've known them as a couple. It's so rare that we see happy Kyle and Amanda. We've only seen that right at like this last season when I was like, are they good? Like, was getting married the best thing that could have happened to them? No, I don't know I guess maybe they were faking it or something. I don't know. Because this season, it's just, she resents the fuck out of him, man. Like, she really does not like Kyle. And he doesn't like her either. If someone is that social, you probably need someone who's equally social or even slightly equally social. I am not social at all. Like opposite. So not social. So I couldn't be with someone like Kyle because I would drive them crazy. That's sort of, I get it. I get Kyle being like, but I want to go out and you just don't. And it's like, you're just so opposite, Support for today's episode comes from Jenny Kane Home, and I love home decor. You see, my dad, we found a place for him. He's going to go live there. I will stay in this 2-bedroom, so I've got a whole other room to worry about. Just like Jenny Kane fashion, Jenny Kane home is clean, it's effortless, it's refined, but it's cozy, it's classic, it's timeless. And don't forget, they have the most incredible scented candles. We love candles. These smell like what Jennifer Aniston's home would smell like in my mind. I am all about making my home as cozy as possible, and their perfectly neutral pillows and throws are exactly what I'm looking for. There's no such thing as too many, by the way. Every room deserves a little luxury. That's what I always say. Their home furniture is to die for. The sofas, the sectionals, the beds. I also am going to do a complete overhaul of all of my flatware, my dinnerware, because I just want everything to be matching, chic, clean. So the Pacific Dinnerware collection is perfect. It's durable, you can use it every day, but it's still a little flex when people come over, you know? They also have a really incredible rewards program where you can earn up to 10% back with every purchase, and joining is completely free. So why not? Find the perfect way to refresh your space at jennykane.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code SheSpeaks at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at JENNIKAYNE.com, promo code SheSpeaks. Moving on. In the cité, they're at a rooftop bar. You guys, honestly, this is like the only reason I ever think about moving to New York. The rooftop bar situation is so superior. LA doesn't even really have any. We have like one or two, and they're just like not that cool. I mean, they're cool, but like they're not. It's a New York rooftop bar, everything for sure. But Sierra, West, Danielle, and Jesse meet for drinks. Sierra is possibly signing with a modeling agency in NYC, so good for her. Danielle hooked up with a drummer who lives in LA, so good for her. She got laid. And Jesse says, congrats on the sex. They're not having sex, so I don't need to ask them. And that really puts them on the spot, and also like puts West on the spot, because West is like, all right, I told you that, but that's not something that you need to like repeat. And then he goes, when are you going to have sex with my friend? Which is a very awkward thing to ask, actually, if someone is setting boundaries and taking it slow. I don't have a deadline, okay? I don't have a fucking deadline. But Sierra handles it like a champ. She says, at this rate, never. And she's happy taking it slow. And Danielle looks at Wes and goes, now, how do you feel about that? And he goes, it's like time is slowing down. Yeah, that sounds about right. Carl meets his wedding party bros, Andrea sighting, and Kyle gets a chance to talk to Andrea about the flower boy of it all, because Andrea's like pumped. Andrea's like, we're flower boys, isn't that super cool? And Kyle's like, no offense, but I've known this guy forever, and he officiated my wedding, and I'm a fucking flower boy. But he tries so hard to embrace it. He's like, but it's fine. It's cool. It's fine. It's cool. He's having such a hard time stuffing his emotions. On Watch What Happens Live, I was so happy to hear that Andy is begging Kyle to cut that mullet off. Amanda's begging. I'm so sick of the mullet. It's so over. I need to see Kyle without the mullet. It's exhausting. It's too much. It's like, we've been doing this for years now, dude. No. Ugh. I miss seeing what Kyle looks like. It's bad. I'm over it. We're done. We're done with it. The next day, Kyle picks up Andrea because they're going to drive up to the Hamptons together. And Kyle picks him up and he goes, oh, so I went out till 4 a.m. last night. And Andrea knew. He's like, was Amanda awake? Is she mad? He's like, yeah, she's not happy. Not happy about it. So this weekend, Paige is hosting Italian night. This bitch is doing it right, though. She's getting it catered. She has a bartender. Someone will be cleaning up. I love that, because I'm sure someone said to Paige, you never throw a party. And she's like, okay, I'll do my own party. How about that? And I'm going to do it my way. Okay. I'm going to fork over some money and make it happen. But she's driving up with Jesse. She goes, I just didn't want it to be awkward, because like the whole thing with Craig. And so like, it's my part to be nice to the new guy and make things like cool. That's nice of her. They didn't okay, they get back to the house, or they get to the house, Paige and Jesse get to the house. They didn't need to show us this very gratuitous shot of Jesse taking off his shorts to change into swim trunks. So you just get, like, his bare butt. I don't need to see this stuff. I don't know. It's like if it was a woman, they showed it too, I'd be like, "Okay." Like, I don't always need these insert shots. I don't know why I feel like they they're just very unnecessary. I don't it's I guess it's to show us just this is what they're willing to show on camera or something. I don't know, but it's just like sometimes it's a little violating, just a little bit. I know that we have the cameras all around for those reasons, but come on now. There's something happening with this front door. No one can seem to get in. I don't know why they can't. Like, what is there that they can't fix? Lindsay and Carl, Paige, and Jesse are now the first. They're like people hanging they're by the pool. And I'm so grateful that when Danielle comes in, she's like, "Are you guys hot? Let's go inside." I'm like, "Thank you." Because that is the thing about when I watch Summer House. This shit, it's hot. It is hot in the summer in New York. It is humid. It's so humid. I hate it. So they're all sitting outside. I'm like, "Get me inside with AC, honey." Jesse is pretty shameless about having ditched guy night. Like he wasn't sorry about it when he's talking to Paige, and then Carl kind of brings it up and he's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Jesse's like, "Not my thing. I had to get laid." But Carl tells them that Kyle is going to be a flower boy. And Paige is like, she goes, "I might be sitting here having no reaction, but inside I'm dying. A fucking flower boy. You will throw petals as I walk down the aisle." She's like, Lindsay made that happen. Amanda, when she gets there, she bitches to Paige about, or no, Amanda was there. Where was Amanda? Why weren't they inside? Amanda gets there and starts bitching to Paige about Kyle going out till 4 a.m. And Paige is like, "It's a school night. Okay. We don't do that anymore." Kyle claims that he never does that he rarely ever does that. Um, and if he does rarely do that, I kind of feel like you got to give him a pass once in a while. It was Carl's like kind of bachelor thing, if you will. Because Lindsay even said, she's like, "It was like an impromptu bachelor party. I walked in like all these dudes." So Amanda's like, "I used to love Kyle's, social butterfly ways because it would get me out of my own shell. But I just thought, oh, perfect. He's older. So eventually he'll slow down." But no. And I guess that's a fair bet. I guess it's a fair trajectory to bet on that. But fundamentally, Kyle is just much more social. Kyle, there also isn't. Kyle does have an issue with needing like to be the center of attention, needing to have all the. I don't know. There is. It's not all Amanda being like a downer and like a wet blanket. There, part of it is like, for example, Kyle having a conversation with Amanda about wanting to get some of the magic back between them this summer and spend more quality time together. And as Amanda says, then he spends all his time with the banana that he won. Because probably because it looks good on camera and like funny on camera to be like Kyle with the banana guy. So Kyle, I don't, that relationship is just so icky. Kyle shows Carl the non-alcoholic lover boy. And it's like, it's so cute because he's trying to be like, "So I thought, maybe we could use this to like get back to a good place. And maybe you could think of this as like a side gig and we can share in the proceeds." And Carl says he'll think about it. But then in his interview, he knows Lindsay would not be on board with that. Here's also what I'm confused by. I know Lindsay to be quite forgiving, to be honest. Like especially when it comes to Kyle. Her and Kyle have fought a little bit over the years and stuff. Um, I just am surprised that Lindsay is like holding so firm in this with Carl. Like I know that he said a lot of shit, but at this point, like you've also said, I just would think by now Lindsay has seemed to let things go, and now she's just really not letting this go. I don't know. It's getting a bit exhausting at this point. I don't know why I'm saying it's exhausting because it's all over now. Everything's totally changed now. Nothing. Sorry, guys. I just hopping off the live to come do this, and my mind is like a little scattered. Okay, dinner time. Someone asks Amanda about the house that they looked at. And while she's answering, Carl and Jesse are kind of chatting with each other. And Kyle goes, "Hey, idiots." And Amanda's like, "Kyle, oh my, that wasn't necessary." Like, Kyle, that wasn't necessary. Amanda people can have other conversations. You know what I mean? It's a dinner. It's a long dinner table. So they could have just finished up whatever they were saying and like picked up wherever they wanted to with Amanda talking. But to be like, hey, idiots, I did understand like that's not necessary. And I think Amanda's just always mortified by Kyle. And that's been the through line of their whole relationship. Whenever, and we've even seen it this season. And when he did the thing with Jesse and Craig and Paige, she was so upset. And she admitted, I heard people saying, I can't believe Kyle did that. And it made me insecure. Because she's so, like, she thinks that Kyle is like a representative of her, which kind of is. So I understand Amanda being upset, but then, like, yet again, it's an awkward moment for everyone to be like, okay, let's pretend we're not watching this. So Amanda says that this would be just a place. The place they looked at would be just a place for her to be able to get away from the city, for like a week or two or a month. A month? That's when Paige is like, I'm so sorry. What the fuck? She's over the apartment. She says, unfortunately, Kyle still loves it. Loves not only like she's like not only over the city, but over the apartment specifically. And that, of course, is the apartment that Kyle loves. So once again, what do we do here? And Amanda, Kyle goes, the day that the kids need a play date in a yard was when I thought we would move. And Amanda goes, you're not the one who spends all day with the kids. And then thank God, you guys, Paige makes a joke and she goes, we're not even sure you're their daddy. And because they're like, because you're talking about the dogs, right? Danielle asks Kyle, like, are you willing to compromise? And he goes, we're trying to like think through it. She goes, okay, yeah, that's a no. What is the solution here? Next week, the clip is Lindsay saying that someone's like, what would you rate your sex life? And she says a 2.5 and then tells them that earlier that day they'd already had sex, but neither came. Neither. Lord. Kyle, I thought you guys had magical sex whenever you did have sex. I also don't like that she's talking about it like that. I don't know. Kyle tells Amanda that being married to her is the loneliest feeling. He says that to her on the beach when they're fighting. So, yeah, we got some more stuff coming. Amanda was on Watch What Happens Live. Honestly, she really annoyed me. She was like, the stuff that we're looking at with Amanda, it's like, you don't seem to like Kyle. And she'll be like, well, guys, you don't understand. Like, I spent all my time with Kyle. So that's just what it is. Yeah. Like, she needs to stay. And they don't communicate. They don't seem to I've been looking at the wrong camera. This is my camera. Hi. They don't communicate. They communicate like only on the show, I guess. Because what are you guys talking about? You guys, it's like they're still in the exact same place they were. When Watch What Happens Live, I'm like, you're still in the same predicament? Okay, in the after show, Lindsay tries to spin the flower boy thing as not an insult. Thank God Gabby's like, I'm sorry, what? You did a what now? You made him a flower boy? Carl says he's embarrassed about it, as he should be. But Lindsay's like, obviously we weren't going to have Kyle officiate because that would be the longest ceremony in history. So I was like, why don't we include him? And then Gabby's like, oh, okay, it's funny. And Lindsay's like, oh, now it's funny? Oh my God. And Gabby's like, I just needed an explanation. And Lindsay goes, I'm so nice. If anyone has to say it, they ain't. If anybody has to say it, I wish Lindsay had said it with her whole fucking chest. I wish Lindsay had been like, after the shit that man talked about me, hell no. He is not about to be a groomsman. No way. That is so fucking disrespectful. That's what she could have said, and I would have been like, okay, girl. But instead, she's like, PR spin. She's Miss PR spins. I don't like it. Amanda claims Lindsay severed a lot of Carl's friendships, but Amanda is in the after show, her setup with Danielle, and Danielle is very cautious about what she agrees with or like nod. She doesn't want to nod too much. She's just like, being very, she's like, I got to be careful here. The only other thing that I thought was cute was Paige tells us about, oh, that's not the only thing I thought was cute. Why did my notes pop up like that? Never mind. We have way more to go. Paige tells us that there is a summer house group chat and a summer home group chat. And this is how this is what Paige says. She goes, we need, after Carl and Lindsay broke off their wedding, called off their wedding, we needed a safe space to talk about our kickball league. And we didn't think they wanted to join our kickball league. So we did summer home. And that's where we talked about our schedules. And Sierra's like, yeah, game's canceled tonight. They forfeited. We won. But she goes, the real group chat that you want to hear about is the one between her, Sierra, Amanda, and Kyle, where Kyle will leave them like 3-minute voice notes. That's exactly what I imagine Kyle doing in a group chat. She says, that's the one. That's the big one. I am a little exhausted of Jesse's storyline of the I want to find the right girl, but I just haven't found her yet. I'm like, okay, I don't want to keep hearing this. I don't want to keep hearing this from the guy that keeps going out and having sex with literally 4 different women in a week. Like, I don't want to please don't make me keep listening to this, because it just starts to feel like he's talking shit about these women that he does have sex with, because clearly none of them are worthy of that. So I'm telling you, I see a dark side here. I figured out a hosting hack for people like me who don't love to cook, but still love to have company. Wild grain. I took one of those delicious loaves of sourdough bread that come in the subscription box. It's frozen, mind you. No thawing required. I take it from the freezer, put it in the oven. 25 minutes later, I top that with some butter and some garlic and some cheese on the side. Oh yeah, I look like I have it all together. Wild Grain is the first ever bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, fresh pastas, artisanal pastries. Every item bakes from frozen in 25 minutes or less. And you can now fully customize your Wild Grain box so you can choose any combination of breads, pastas, and pastries. You can even build a box of only breads, only pastas, or only pastries if you so desire. For a limited time, you can get $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box. The best croissants in the world, by the way. When you go to wildgrain.com/shespeaks to start your subscription. You heard me. Free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/shespeaks. That's wildgrain.com/shespeaks, or you can use promo code SHESPEAKS at checkout. I have heard about Pretty Litter for years, and I thought, okay, thanks a lot. It's litter. It's gross. No matter what. I don't care what you say about your product. Okay. Well, then they sponsored this podcast, and I was like, oh, so I didn't have to suffer all of those years with the regular clumping, dusty litter that I was using before. Pretty Litter has these crystals. They are magic crystals, I tell you, because they just absorb the liquid, and you just stir it and it becomes just the crystals. It's crazy. And then you scoop the solid parts out, then you just stir it up and it absorbs the odor, it traps it. It's just so confusing because I have been dealing with litter hatefully for 7+ years now. And all this time, I could have saved myself a whole lot of pain and suffering. It's not only more pleasant, but also the crystals change color to indicate early signs of potential illnesses like urinary tract infections, kidney issues, stuff like that. So, and if that wasn't good enough, Pretty Litter ships free right to my door. I don't run out. I don't have huge kitty litter bags taking up space, or I don't have to go to the store to lug this big old tub from the store to the car and the car to my house. Pretty Litter is amazing. You have to try it. Go to prettylitter.com/shespeaks to save 20% on your first order. That's prettylitter.com/shespeaks to save 20% on your first order. prettylitter.com/shespeaks. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details. Then they go into the segment about the calling off the like Paige asking Lindsay about calling off the wedding, and just like this is the segment. So Carl, I'm going to start with what Carl says. Carl says he presented the idea because he always thought November was a really weird month to get married. He's like, it's just right by the holidays, it's just a weird month. So he had suggested January, but she flipped out. And he feels it's because she wanted to have kids as soon as possible. And if you delay this wedding, that gets in the way of it. Which, yeah. And because honestly, I thought November was a weird month. Like, why fall? Like, I don't know. She's just more, I don't know. And even January is still kind of strange, but whatever. What Lindsay says is she was asked by multiple people if she was sure about getting married. And that kind of makes me go back to, well, then so the signs were there, is what you're saying. But here's what she says. She says, the reason I said no is because I truly believe that relationships take work. And then she goes into how you'll be working on your relationship for years to come. So what's wrong with now type of a thing. And Gabby says something, whatever. And then Lindsay goes, and what even were the issues Carl had? That I questioned him about his career, but then they flash back to her just shutting down an idea that he had. Like, no, I'm gonna veto that. So no, no, thank you. Okay, so it wasn't questioning necessarily. The producer says that I can see you both were working hard on it. And Lindsay goes, well, some people are used to working harder than others. But then the producer's like, okay, but seriously. And she goes, and she admits, I have a wild capacity for shit and drama. And Gabby goes, you've normalized things in your life. You're used to struggle. Okay, hold on. Lindsay says, well, I don't play victim. I work through things. So I want to break this little segment down. So Lindsay, how do I put this? She's in therapy. I just feel like her therapist isn't really helping her, because to say that she has normalized fighting, she's normalized yelling, she's normalized a lot of tumultuous stuff. That's not playing victim. That's not what that is. And I feel like whatever fucking therapist is dealing with her is not doing her any service, because by this point, by the after show, she should be finishing these statements with, I have a wild capacity for shit and drama. And that's something I need to recognize, that a lot of dysfunction is not good, that they don't need to be work to the point where we're fighting all the time. But she has normalized fighting and she justifies fighting. And I bet that when she tells her version of things to her therapist, it's very watered down, like we saw her tell a story to Danielle. When we just saw the scene, you were picking the fight, and then you go tell Danielle that he was interrupting and yelling at you and all this shit. So you've normalized toxic behavior because no one is checking you enough, and you're not checking yourself. No one wants to be the recipient of that type of anger. I had to stop my rage. I did. Like, I used to be angry at everybody. I used to wear it like a badge of honor, like, don't fuck with me. But it doesn't do anything. And it's really, really traumatizing for some people. Receiving that level of anger, it's a lot. It takes a lot out of people. But she refuses to see that she has an anger problem. She's like, what? So I have an emotion that's not happy? No, because you're screaming and you're saying vicious things. So you have not normalized not being a victim, not working through. That's not what that is the spin you're putting on this. What you've normalized is dysfunction, toxicity. And that should be something you're working on, for crying out loud. Carl has a whole bunch of shit to work on, because there is a darkness to Carl, for sure. There is a manipulative, dark side of Carl. A lot of addicts have that shit. This has been a preview of a Patreon exclusive. If you would like to hear all of the Summer House coverage, check out the Patreon at the link in the description. Make sure you sign up to be a Grand Dame or The Moment in order to get access to all the bonus content. Right now, I'm finishing up season 5 of Southern Charm, and next will be a classic Beverly Hills episode. The bonus episodes are voted on by the Patreon members, so it's a lot of fun. So come check out the Patreon. Love to have ya. No matter what, queens. Love you. Mean it. See you soon.